Hello! Hi guys! So today we're going to make our first project, which is a square crochet coaster. So for this project, you want to have a yarn of your choice as well as a 5mm hook. Here. So first we're going to start by making a slip knot. So the way I do it is you first kind of hang your string out like this over your finger, right? And I like to grab it here. Grab both ends, then you're going to twist this string around. Put your 2 fingers through here, so it kind of looks like a check mark. You see we're still holding the ends of our yarn. So once you have your fingers here, you're going to reach over, you're going to grab the tail end of the yarn. Gonna hold on, and once you pull through, you've created a slip knot. So I'll show you again. You're going to hold kind of a loop in your yarn like this. You're going to grab the ends, twist your yarn, and make sort of a check mark shape. Then you're going to reach over and grab this end of your yarn, the tail end. You're going to pull through, and there. You've made a slip knot. So once you've made your slip knot, you're going to put in your crochet hook. You're going to tighten it like this. You can tighten it by pulling them together. And you want to make it so that it's not too tight on the hook, but also not too loose. So you see when I shake it around like this, it's not really moving that many places, but I can still move it around like this. Now I'm going to go over how to hold your yarn. So you see how I have a tail end here, and I have the yarn connected to my skein. So you first want to put your yarn over your first 3 fingers like this, going to grasp onto it. Then you're going to make a check mark shape so that the yarn kind of goes over this first finger. Then you're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and pinch that tail end. So it'll kind of look like this. The way you're going to hold your crochet hook, sorry guys, there are multiple ways to do this. So the way I hold it is sort of like this. I rest my thumb on this bridge here, naturally engraved into the crochet hook, and I support it with my pointer finger. However, there are multiple ways you can do this. There's something called a pencil grip, where some people hold it like this, some people hold it like this. You really just play around with it till you find a position that's comfortable, and you could also watch more videos online to kind of see the different ways people hold their crochet hooks. So, continuing, once we've gotten our yarn hold and we have our hook hold, we're going to start making chains. So what we're going to do, we're going to put our hook underneath our yarn here. So you see it's very subtle. You put it underneath the yarn here, so it kind of grabs it, right? And as we slowly twist to the bottom, we're going to pull through our loop. There we go, we've made a stitch. So let me show you again. And make sure you have proper form while you're doing this. You're going to carefully place your hook underneath your yarn here and slowly pull it through the loop, like so. While you're moving up in your project, I like to move my pinch more up so that my project is staying still and my loop isn't going anywhere while I'm trying to crochet. And make sure to take your time so that you aren't pulling too tight or you aren't too loose. You want to make sure you're firmly gripping your yarn here so that your stitches aren't becoming like this. But at the same time, you want to be loose enough to where it's not so tight that you can barely fit it through. All right. So you're just going to continue with this until you've made 11 stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate the second stitch from our hook. And make sure whenever you're crocheting, you always want to start into the second stitch from your hook, not the first one. So up close, we see these stitches. And so we have this loop on our hook, then we have this first crochet right here. This is our first crochet. Then we have our second crochet here. And this is where we're going to enter in our hook. It's going to enter in our hook right here into this loop. All right, let me show you again. So we have our loops. We aren't going to put it into the first one. We're going to put it into this second one here. I'm going to put it into this top loop in our second stitch. So once we've entered our hook into the second stitch, what we're going to do is like we were doing when we were making stitches, we're going to carefully place our hook underneath our yarn again. So like this, underneath your yarn. And you're going to pull through this first loop. After you've pulled through that first loop, going to go under the yarn again like so, and you're going to pull through both loops. And there you go, you've just made your first crochet. So let me demonstrate that again. So after you've created your first crochet, you no longer need to do the second loop from your hook. So you're going to go into the next one here. So make sure not to put it into this sort of big loop, because you see here, this is the stitch that we've already created our single crochet in. And we don't want to make two into the same stitch. So we're going to carefully look, and this is the next stitch. So we're going to place our hook into this first loop. So now we have our two loops on our hook. Going to go underneath the yarn and pull it through this first loop. Then we're going to go underneath the yarn again and pull it through both loops. Yay, okay. And make sure to just go through this slowly and take your time. So let me show you again. Enter it into the next stitch. Pull through a loop. And then pull through both loops. Ta-da! And do that all the way to the end. And since we had 11 stitches and we skipped the first one, you should end up with 10 single crochets. Once we finished our single crochets, it should look a bit like this. Now we're going to chain and flip our work. So chaining is the same as stitching. We're going to place our hook underneath our yarn here and pull a loop through, and that is our chain. Then we're going to turn our project like this so that we can start working on the second layer. So we're going to learn how to do half double crochets. So you're going to first start out with an extra loop on your chain. And how you're going to do that is you're going to go again underneath the yarn like this. And that's basically all you do. Now you sort of have two loops on your crochet hook. Once you have your two loops, you're going to enter in to the first stitch. And so this is a bit different from how we did it from the stitches. So our project currently looks like this. And let me do a close-up. These are our stitches. These sort of like V-looking things at the top. And the way we're going to enter into them is like this. So if you look closely, you see these kind of holes here underneath those two V's at the top. This is where we're going to enter in our crochet hooks. So we're not going to start from the second stitch like we did at the beginning. We're going to start straight from the first one. So when doing that, this is what your project looks like, and you enter your hook right here into the top, and you see you've picked up this kind of V shape. So continuing with our half double crochet, you're going to loop the yarn around your hook, and you're going to place it into your first crochet like this. And once you do that, this step is the same as for a single crochet. You're going to put your hook underneath the yarn and pull a loop through. And you notice this time now we have 3 loops instead of 2 loops like we did in the single crochet. But this step is the same. So we're going to yarn over and this time pull through 3 loops instead of 2 like in a single crochet. And that is how you do a half double crochet. So showing it again, you're going to yarn over, so you sort of have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to enter it in underneath these 2 V's. I'm going to place your yarn over your hook, yarn over and pull through a loop. Then you're going to yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. Ta-da! And that is how you half double crochet. Alright, so finish up your row and you'll have 10 half double crochets. I've reached the end of my row and this is what it looks like. We've done 2 layers or 2 rows. This is our first row and this is our second row. So we're going to chain again, but this time we're going to chain 2. So we're going to pull through a loop and then pull through another loop. So now we have 2 chains. And we're going to flip our work like we did before. You're going to yarn over so that you sort of have 2 loops on your hook again. It's the same as before. You're going to place it into this stitch here, the first stitch, and you're going to pull through a loop. All these steps are the same as for a half double crochet. And this is where it becomes different. So you're going to yarn over like you did before and pull through only the first 2 loops here. You see how I left this last one? Only pull through the first 2. You're going to yarn over again and pull through these last 2 loops. And that is how you do a double crochet. Ta-da! So let me show you again. Going to pick up this yarn over, place it into, sorry for the focus, this next stitch, pull through a loop, then you're going to yarn over, pull through only the first 2 loops, then yarn over again, and pull through the last 2 loops. And this is what your half double crochet should look like. Alright, so then finish up your row and it'll be 10 double crochets. So we finished our row. It's going to look like this. So we've done 3 rows. This is the first row, second row, then the third row. And now we are going to chain 2 again. So we're going to pull through a loop, chain 1, then we're going to pull through a loop again and chain 2. So do your 2 chains and then turn your work. And we're going to learn how to do a triple crochet. You're going to yarn over twice. So once, twice. All right, so you do it once, and you do it twice. Then we're going to place our hook into our next stitch underneath the V's. Here, if I can show you. And we're going to pull through a loop, like so. Then we're going to pull through the first 2 loops, pull through the next 2 loops, and then pull through the last 2 loops. And ta-da! You've made a triple crochet. Let me show you again. Going to yarn over twice, place your hook into your next crochet, pull through a loop, pull through the first 2 loops, pull through the next 2 loops and pull through the final 2 loops. So do that for each crochet here until you get 10 and finish off your row. And we're going to chain 2 again, because now we're going to do another double crochet row. We've finished learning all the basic stitches. Congratulations! Yay! Alright, so we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. And we're going to flip our work, and we're going to do a double crochet again. So to do a double crochet, remember we yarn over once, so we have 2 loops on our hook. We enter in our hook into this first stitch and pull through a loop. Then we yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then the last 2 loops. Alright, showing you again. You yarn over once, put your hook into the next space, you pull through a loop, you pull through the first 2 loops, and you pull through the last 2 loops. And you're just going to continue that for the rest of the row. Now we're going to do another half double crochet row. And if you've noticed, what we're doing is we're sort of mirroring what we did before. So we did a single crochet row, half double crochet, and triple crochet. Now when we're going back, we're going to do double crochet, half double crochet, and single crochet. So this time we're only going to chain 1 because our next row is a half double crochet row. We're going to flip our work. We're going to do half double crochets. So this time, again, we only loop over once. We enter in our hook into the stitch and pull through a loop. And this time we pull through all 3 loops. Showing you again, we loop over once. So we have 2 loops on our crochet hook. We enter in our hook into the stitch. And we pull through a loop. Then we pull through all 3 loops. And then so finish up your half double crochet layer. Chain 1 again. We flip our work, and we're going to do a single crochet layer, and it's going to be our last layer or last row. We enter in our hook into this first stitch under the 2 V's, pull through a loop, and then pull through both loops. Right? Enter our crochet hook into this first chain space, or not chain space, but into this first stitch, pull through a loop, and pull through both loops. And just finish up your row. Alright, we finished our little square cup coaster. Isn't it so cute? So now we're going to end our project. So what we're going to do is we're kind of just going to pretend like we're chaining 1. We're going to chain 1. And then, this is just to kind of secure it, we're going to take our scissors. So I have mine right here. And we're just going to cut off a decent amount, maybe like this much. Boop. And we're just going to pull our yarn through and tighten up our chain here. And we've finished! Ta-da! You see how we have these sort of loose ends right here? We're going to weave them in so that they don't fall out or just like hang here, you know? So we need a darning needle or a sewing needle. And if you don't have one, just bring it to me if you can find me, or bring it to the next club meeting, and I can weave in your ends for you. So you don't necessarily need to like know how to do it now, but I just wanted to show you in case you have the supplies and you want to learn. So you just kind of pull your yarn through your darning needle. And what you're going to do is locate your stitches. So you see our single crochets here, we can identify them through these kind of V's here. you're going to place your needle into the stitch. So like this. Place it into the first stitch. We're going to do that for 5 stitches, or I like to do 5 just to be safe. And 5. Then we're going to pull our sewing needle through. And ta-da! Then we're going to go the other way. So we're next going to identify our double crochets. So there are these V's right here. Now, if we were to turn them the other way, this is what they would look like. The V's here. And we're going to put it through 5 of these. And then you're going to pull through. As you can see, now your yarn end is like basically hidden. You can't even tell where it is anymore. And it's fully secure, so you can just, bam, cut it. There you go, you've weaved in one end. Let me show you how to do another. So you're going to locate the stitches first. So they're right here, these really small looking V's. And put it through. And 5. Gonna pull it through. Then we're going to do it the other way. So then we're going to do it into these V's here. They're kind of backwards. These V's. Gonna pull through our yarn. And ta-da! We've weaved in our ends. Just need to cut this last part off. Bam. But you are done with your square crochet cup coaster. And I have a cup that I brought as an example. Oh, it's so cute. So adorable. You made your first project. I'm so proud of you. Good job, and I'll see you at the next meeting.